Good morning all. So last lecture we are about to start this unit number 4, and title of this unit is manufacturing considerations in design and design of shafts, keys and couplings. So let me tell you one thing, this was previously two different units which has clubbed together. One was manufacturing considerations in design and second was design of shaft, keys and couplings, which are combined together. As far as the syllabus which we can concern with this unit, first of all we will go through the syllabus and later on we'll start this unit. So first thing which we can see here, that is design considerations for the casting, design considerations for forging, then for machined parts and design. Gaurav, do you have any question? Gaurav, roll number 3. Will you please unmute yourself? Okay, then design considerations for the assembly and manufacturing or manufacturer, that we are going to see in first part of this unit. Second part is material for the shafts, that is design of shafts, keys and couplings. Combinedly we are going to see it together because these shaft, keys and couplings are used combinedly, and that's why we can evaluate it and its stresses, as well as we can find out the dimensions of these shafts, keys and couplings together. So in this unit where this design of shaft, keys and couplings are considered, the content is material for the shaft, design of solid and hollow shafts on strength basis, that is nothing but maximum principal stress theory and maximum shear stress theory. Based on these two theories, we are going to calculate the dimensions of shafts, that is solid shafts and hollow shafts also. And okay, so ASME code, we are going to see how to use it for the shaft design. Then design of square and flat keys which are used to couple pulleys and couplings to the shaft. So separately we are going to see how to design that keys, how to find out the dimensions of that keys. Then splitted shaft, that is spline shaft we are going to use, which are nothing but the used to connect, you might have seen for the clutch, okay, or such applications where multiple key grooves are formed, and that you are going to call as a spline shaft. Okay, and types of couplings, in that types of coupling we are going to see mop coupling and rigid coupling, and based on these two or design procedure of this mop coupling and rigid coupling, we are going to have some problems to be solved. Okay, so this is what the syllabus. Next, what we are going to see is design considerations. Now, before going to see this design considerations in casting, let me tell you, while you are going to design any part, at that time you have to concentrate on which manufacturing process can be used for that. Okay, there are a number of manufacturing processes which are available. Can you list out one or two? Anybody of you? Just I want to know which
casting.
Casting, yes, Balaji. Next. Any other manufacturing process? Generally, how we are going to manufacture any component?
Forging.
Forging is the another process. Next. casting and forging are mostly used or commonly used for the metal. Then if suppose we are going to use some materials which are not coming under the category of metal, in that case also we can use some other manufacturing process. Anybody else? Rule number 10, Ajay. Can you suggest any one manufacturing process?
Rolling.
For rolling. Okay. Rolling is the part of what we can say hot rolling and cold rolling. This is what part of forging it is coming under category of. Anybody else? Drawing again one of the operation. Rolling is the another operation. Operations which we are going to perform. Machining is the one of the manufacturing process by means of which we can form the components. Okay. In welding, that is we are going to manufacture the various components by means of joining it together. Okay. Forging and chemical processing. Okay. Nowadays we are using chemical processing. That is nothing but etching and all that. That is again coming in existence nowadays. Chemical process. Okay, these are some manufacturing process by means of which we can form a component. Okay, so while you are going to design any component, at that time you have to take care that how it will get manufactured. And for that manufacture, only it is not sufficient that you have calculated dimensions and you have provided it to the machine shop. But before that, you have to take care that while you are going to design or while you are going to keep some allowances, like factor of safety is the essential one. When we are going to decide the factor of safety, at that time we are going to consider that load will be added more than that regular loading or the component which is undergoing to the stresses, normal stresses that are multiplied, and you are going to find out some design stresses, and for that design stresses you are going to calculate the dimensions. So once you have calculated that dimensions, at that time we have to take care that how this component will get manufactured, whether it is required to have some additional allowances for that. So for example, we can take while you are going to design any component which will get manufactured under this casting. Okay, at that time this casting will be provided in such a way, or the manufacturing process is carried out in such a way that you are going to pour some molten matter in the mold and it will get cooled. It is allowed to cool and hence it will become solid and that part will get manufactured. That is not only sufficient. After getting part manufactured by means of casting, you have to do some machining operations also. So while you are going to design that component, at the design level only, you have to take care of all these things. And when this part will get manufactured by means of casting, then you have to provide some casting allowances, drafts and all that angles, right? And later on you have to keep some allowance for the machining also, so that that machining process will be taken place on that part. So there are some general guidelines which we are going to see for the various manufacturing process and which we have to consider at the time of design only. So when you are going to consider this part to be manufactured by means of casting, at that time first thing which you have to take care is that you have to keep your component in compression, because we know that this part which is manufactured by means of casting is capable to take more amount of compression load rather than tensile load. So here one example is given. If suppose your application is that one part is supported or one shaft is supported, okay, by means of this wedge or this supporting device. Okay, here suppose we are going to have one shaft which is rotating under this or inside this hole. Okay, this is bearing support, suppose, and bearing is provided, and later on this shaft is going to rotate. At that time, one can use this particular component in such a way that it will be in hanging condition. That is, support is provided from the upper side. So all this component which is coming under tensile load, because total load will be acting in the downward direction towards this because of the gravity, and hence tensile load will be provided in this bearing support. But instead of that, if suppose you are going to provide support from lower side, and because of the gravity, if the load is acting in downward direction, this part will come under the compression. So designer is going to decide how you are going to support to the shaft by means of this bearing or bearing support. So you have to take care that if possible, maximum you have to provide that component in the compression, not in tension. Okay, so maximum area which is undergoing to the stress, that should be in compression. That care you have to take while you are going to design that component, and while you are going to provide different parameters for that component. Okay, this is the first guideline. Second guideline, you have to round up all the that external corners. If suppose we are going to have such part where this corner is there, so at the time of design only you have to round up it, so that stress concentration will get reduced. Suppose this part is manufactured by means of casting, and if the material get concentrated over here at the corner, there may be possibility that this material or this molten metal may not get flow through this corner. Okay, hence it is possible to have blowholes there. Are you getting me? So as far as possible, or it is common rule is that you have to round up all the sharp corners. Okay, here also you can see second example, it is poor design, and here that corner has gets rounded, and hence this flow of metal will be take place, and stress concentration will not get increased. Getting? The third is that wherever possible, the section thickness throughout should be held as uniform wherever it is possible. Okay, if it is not possible, okay, then you have to just round up it. Okay, and next, avoid very thin sections. As far as possible, with the help of casting, if you are going to manufacture any component at that time, this thin sections you have to avoid. That is nothing but you have to make it sufficient thick, so that molten metal will get flow through the cavity which has provided in the mold. Otherwise, there may be possibility that the material may get stick, and it may not get flow through the thin cavity which is provided at the time of manufacturing. So you have to provide you have to avoid the thin sections. Then avoid concentration of materials at junction. That is, suppose we are going to manufacture this component, we have taken this component, and if you pour this material from this hole, suppose pouring hole has been provided over here, and this mold, in this mold, if you pour this material, then the whole material will get concentrate at the mid. So you have to avoid such type of concentration of metal, because the total metal may get concentrated over here, and very less metal may get flow through the other sides. Okay, no doubt that at the bottom side it will get again concentrated, because it is possibly, if you are going to pour it from upper side, then because of the gravity, this material will get flow at the down. Okay, later on it will get flow up. So in such case, if you are pouring it from the upper side, if suppose it is horizontal one, and if you are pouring from the hole which has provided, hole which has shown here in the pink color, then this material will get concentrate at the center. So such type of things you have to avoid at the time of designing only. These are some considerations which we have taken care in case of casting process. Okay, at the time of forging, you have to take care that if suppose this component has been forged one, then we have to take advantage of this uh, trace lines. Okay, so here difference is shown here with the various manufacturing process. First figure A is shown which has been manufactured by means of cast, okay, or casting process. Then second B is machined one, okay, and C is forged one. So while designing a forging, advantage should be taken of direction of fibers or fiber lines, because in this case what happens that if you are going to provide the molten metal into cavity or mold, it will get settled down, and very less possibilities that it will have the fiber like nature. When you are going to machine it, you are going to cut some fiber lines. Okay, but in case of forging, these fiber lines will get forged, and strength of that fiber line will get increased. That is what the advantage of forging process which we can get. Okay, so as far as possible, you can use this forging process where you want to have more strength. Like for example, we can take crank. Crank is manufactured by means of forging. Okay, and second thing is that we have to provide some allowances so that this die will get easily removed while you are going to forge any component. So forged component should provided with the adequate drafts, because if that die get jam or this component or this particular job gets jam inside the die, then it is a very poor design, we can say. So we have to provide some drafts. So draft angles are provided and is manufactured, or we can use this manufacturing process as a forging. So here comparison of two components are shown. Originally, by means of design, we want one hole. Okay, this is our original design. But when you are going to use manufacturing process as a forging, at that time you have to provide angles, draft angles for the punch and die. So die can be easily removed, okay, or job can be easily removed from the die. Getting me? Do you have any question? Let me know if you are having any question. Can we move further? Okay. Yes. Now here, a parting line that divides the forging into two separate halves. Okay. Ensure the minimum depth to which the steel must be flow to fill the die impressions. So here you can take example that if you are going to take a forged part, okay, originally it is not of exactly a size of die, but material will get flow through that die while you are going to provide the punch. Okay, while you are going to provide the hammer or punch, you can say. In case of forging, you are going to use hammer or punch. For providing holes, you are going to use punch, and for get the material flow inside the die, you are going to hammer it. So forging plate which you are going to use and to be manufactured part which is shown in upper diagram. Okay, at that time you have to provide this parting line so that the maximum material will get pressed inside the die. Okay, instead of that hammer, maximum material should get pressed inside the die. So such parting line you have to use in case of forging. Then the forging should be provided with the adequate fillet and corner radius. Means in first case where we have seen to avoid the corners, okay, sharp corners with the that round up corners. Likewise, in case of forging also, you have to take care that we have to avoid the sharp corners. Then thin sections and ribs should be avoided in the forging components because of the hammer or hammering which is done on that forging component. At that time, very thin rib may get break or material will not get. Why? Because the forging process is the process by means of which you are allowed to flow the metal with the help of what? External force. So in thin ribs, it is quite difficult to flow that material. So you have to avoid these ribs and thin sections. Got it? Any question with the above slides or slides which you have seen? This is what the theoretical part one. Just you can add one or two more points also in each and every process, manufacturing process which we are going to see. But just we are going to see the general guidelines. Now we are going to see third manufacturing process by means of which components are manufactured, that is machining. As far as possible, designers should avoid the machining process, because when you are going to create the or when you are going to machine any component, at that time possibility is that the stress concentration will get increased. Okay, so if you are going to machine that part, strength of that part will get reduced. And second thing is that the costing of that part will get increased, because initially you have to manufacture that particular component by means of some other process, and later on it will get machined to have the sufficient surface finish and all that. That is what the requirement. Again, to adjust the size also, to provide allowances, that is very close allowances. Okay, we are going to use this machining process. Machining process is the finishing one. So finishing process always increases the cost, right? So original one is having more strength, and when you are going to provide some finishing over that, then it will create the or it will increase the cost, as well as it will reduce the strength of that particular component. Getting it? Second thing is that if it is not possible to avoid it, okay, then we have to provide some tolerances above the dimensions which we have found, or above the dimensions which we have calculated. For the machining, we have to provide machining allowances or tolerances on that. Then if the secondary machining is to be carried out, like grinding or reaming, okay, that will again increase the cost. In that case also, we have to provide some tolerances on the machined components. If suppose one component is manufactured by means of CNC, and later on if you want to have more finishing on that, okay, if you want to increase the smoothness, okay, by means of grinding operation, then we have to again provide the tolerance on that particular component. In this case also, avoid sharp corners, okay, then steps we have to avoid, so that the stress concentration will get reduced. Okay, so designers has to be take care of all these things, and the required shape can be achieved by means of rounding the corners. Then fourth care which we can take while the component is manufactured by means of machining process. Okay, use stock dimensions, that is nothing but raw materials like bars and which are available in standard size. Okay, so we have to choose the standard sizes for that particular component. If suppose we have got the dimension as 8.5 millimeter of any component, suppose it is a round shape pin for which you have got the dimension as a 8.5 millimeter. But if the standard size is available in 12, if the bar is available in 12 millimeter, then you can increase it up to 10, so that the material which you have to remove from 12 millimeter diameter, if you want to reduce it to the 8.5 millimeter, then more amount of material has to be removed. Instead of that, keeping that dimension as 8.5, you can increase it to the 10, so that only 2 millimeter material will has to be removed, and rest of the material additional strength will be given to that particular pin. Getting? Likewise, we can reduce the machining cost also. So we have to use the standard bars and availability of that particular standard sizes. Then rigid parts we have to design in case of machining components. Our shoulder and undercuts, okay, as far as possible. If you want to manufacture any component with the help of machining, undercutting has to be reduced, okay, or shoulders you have to reduce. Then the components which require separate operations and separate tools, that we have to avoid, okay, in one operation only. If it is possible to achieve that particular shape or required shape, functional shape we can say, for the component, that can be chosen, that will be better. Otherwise, pacing will create one more operation, then turning operation, then drilling operation, then again ramming operation, then threading operation. These are all operations if are required, then they require separate tools as well as separate machine sometimes, okay, and which will increase the cost of that machining. Getting? Then at the time of design only, at the stage of design only, if you decide that part is manufactured from machining operation, then you have to avoid selection of hard materials, because hard materials are difficult to cut and they require, or they will increase the tooling cost. The tool will get rough easily and they will increase the tooling cost. So you have to avoid the hard materials if the component is manufactured from machining operation. Got it? Any question? Can we move further? Yes, let me know. Yes, okay. Now these are some guidelines related to the manufacturing process, which we have to consider at the time of design stage only. Okay, main what we can say job of designer is that to find out the dimensions at this stage. Okay, main part of the designer is that to invent some new methodology, some new machine, some new component, then some new process also. We have to investigate some new things, okay, for the same type of work with reduced cost and better operation. That is what the basic function of designer, or basic what we can say job of designer. But once you have done this, all these things, this will be done at very higher level, and later on the application will get developed. That is nothing but the part which you are going to see in the machine design one. That is nothing but the job of developer, because all ready-made things are given to you. That is nothing but force which is applied, then component shape, how that component will be there, then what are the standard things which we can use in that design, and remaining thing just we have to find out the dimensions. Getting? So by calculating the stresses and by applying the various theories, okay, of failure, we have to just calculate the dimensions. So once you are going to do all these things, at that time we have to consider that guidelines which are provided for the specific manufacturing process, and according to that guidelines we have to provide some allowances and we have to design that particular component. Okay, see all that part is coming under the design considerations for the manufacturability. Getting? Then some guidelines are provided for the manufacturer and for the assembly also. While assembly is taking place of various components, and when they are assembled together, then our main machine will get assembled, or main machine will get formed, and that machine will perform some operation, right? So at the time of assembly, there may be some difficulties which that particular person may face. So we are going to see some guidelines which are provided for the designer at the time of designing stage only. So first thing is that reduce the parts count. Okay, this is a very basic thing, because if you are going to manufacture, if you are going to design such a component which will get manufactured in single stroke only, if it doesn't require any other components to be assembled together, okay, generally it doesn't happen. Or we are not seeing any component which is not assembled together, which is not having different parts. Basically, if you are taking example of engine itself, an engine requires number of components which are assembled together, near about 95 to 100 components which are connected together, and then engine form. Getting me? So all these parts which are assembled together will give one machinery, like engine, IC engine. So in that case, the guideline which has been given to the designer is that avoid such things. Okay, basically that means it is ideal one. Second thing is that use modular design. Modular designs, that is nothing but which is going to reduce the number of parts being assembled together, okay, at any time, or at a single time. If you want to assemble some components together, the modular design will get reduce that part and simplifies the final assembly. Getting me? Then in that case, field service also becomes simple, as you are not having many components which are assembled together, and fast and cheap, because disassembling is done faster and requires very few tools. That's why most of the companies are providing their services after the sale, and this will also increase additional cost for that component. If more amount of service has to be provided after the sale, then additional cost will get increased in that component. For example, we can take automotive components or automobile, cars or bikes. At that time, they are going to provide some outlets which are providing after sales service, and that cost will be added in that that particular two-wheeler or in that four-wheeler cost itself. That is nothing but that product will get sell to the customer by additional cost of sales after service or service after sales. Getting? Then we have to optimize the part to be handled, which are assembled together. Assembly in the open assembly operation should be carried out. Okay, that is nothing but this as open assembly operation should be carried out in the while this assembly is done. For that, very best example is that you might have seen assembly lines, basically in automobile sector, where the assembly is done on the line. First, if you are going to assemble that particular chassis of any vehicle, then some parts are assembled at first junction, first stage, or first working station. Later on, that particular assembly will get moved to the further station, where some parts are assembled, and later on some parts are assembled. Likewise, in that case, okay, this manufacturing rate will get increased. Okay, so such type of design should be done, so that that assembly will be done in the stages. And otherwise, if all workers are coming together, which was happening previously, all that body structure comes and all that components will get fitted on that particular body, like headlights, brake assembly, steering assembly, then all the other assemblies which are required, like wheels, tires, and all that. So they will get fitted at one place only. But over there, the crowded application will be done and production rate will get reduced. So that we have to, as far as possible, you have to do that assembly in that line section, or it is called as also open assembly operation. Okay, so that one component which has been placed on that particular chassis, or that we are going to call it as a chassis only, on chassis, will not become hurdle for assembling or for doing assembly of other components. Once you are going to fit the headlights and all that lighting, it will not become hurdle for placing the next station assembly on that particular chassis, like which we have to place first and which we have to place second. That also should be decided by the designer. Otherwise, if you are going to mount the steering assembly on the chassis, and it will become hurdle for placing the all the lighting section electric components on the chassis. Then we have to disassemble that steering. Then afterwards, we have to assemble the all the electric components on the chassis. Yes, any question? Who has unmuted? Okay, I'll come to know who has unmuted. Any question? Let it be. So what I want to say is that care has to be taken by the designer. I'll repeat it once again. एखादी असेंब्ली तुम्ही फिट केली त्या आपल्या मशीनवर, किंवा जो मशीन पार्ट आपण मॅन्युफॅक्चर केलाय त्याच्यावर, तर ती असेंब्ली नेक्स्ट जे आपण असेंबल करणार आहे त्याच्यावर, त्यासाठी हर्डल होऊ नये. आता काय होतं की फ्लायव्हील जर आपण इंजिनला बसवलं, तर फ्लायव्हीलच्या किंवा फ्लायव्हील बाजूला काढून आपल्याला बेरिंग वगैरे हे बसवावे लागतात. हे नॉर्मल प्रोसिजर आहे. गेटिंग मी? कनेक्टिंग रॉड, क्रँक वगैरे हे सगळं असेंबल केल्यानंतर आपण फ्लायव्हील त्याच्यावर असेंबल करतो. डिसअसेंबल पण त्याच सिक्वेन्सने करतो आपण. पण समजा अगोदर आपण स्टेज ठेवली की फ्लायव्हील बसवायचं, त्यानंतर राहिलेले कंपोनंट बसवायचे, तर फ्लायव्हील बाजूला काढून ठेवून मग राहिलेले कंपोनंट बसवावे लागतील. फ्लायव्हील अगोदर माउंट झालेले असेल, तर हे शक्यतो अवॉइड केलं पाहिजे आपल्याला. So sequentially that assembly should be done. Next thing is that every designer has to be take care that we should not fight against the gravity. It means that components which are getting assembled together may be coming from upper side, that will be better and will be get fitted to that particular listen me. Let me know from any one of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So as far as we are going to assemble components together, it should not get lifted. Okay, if it is they are coming from the upper side, that will be better, so that we are not going to fight against the gravity. We are taking advantage of gravity, and at the proper place we can place that particular component. Getting? So every designer, maybe he is designing very simple machinery, any simple component, or very large machinery like locomotive engines or aeroplanes. In all this case, we have to take care that we should not fight against the gravity. Getting? We have to take advantage of gravity. If possible, you can Google how the aeroplanes are manufactured or assembled together, or satellites are assembled together. Okay, from upper side they are going to place heaviest component, not from the bottom side. Getting me? So every designer is going to take care of this, and he has to always keep in mind that we should not fight against the gravity. Then we have to design any component with the identity, specific identity we have to give. Okay, we have to eliminate the fasteners as far as possible. Okay, fasteners are the essential or unavoidable part. Actually, fasteners means nut and bolt and riveting on all that. It is unavoidable, but we have to eliminate as far as that components are possible. The design parts for simple assembly. Assembly should be simple, it should not be complicated. Reduce, simplify, and optimization should be done. We have to optimize that particular manufacturing process by means of which the components are manufactured. Okay. Any question related to the above part? This is one part of our unit, and which is theoretical one. Let me know if you have any question. You are welcome. If you have any question, or you can add one more suggestion in all the suggestions which are provided for the designer while you are going to manufacture any component, while you are going to assemble any various components together. Do you have such suggestion or any question? Let me know. Okay, if not, we are going to move further our next part of this unit, that is design of shaft, keys, and couplings. Shall we? Okay. Before going to design of shaft, keys, and couplings, step by step we are going to see. First of all, we are going to see procedure by means of which we can design shafts, later on keys, and later on couplings. So before going to that, let me ask one question, that how you can define shaft? To what component you can call as a shaft?
Rotary power transmission part is called as.
Okay, total power transmission part or transmitting part is called as shaft. Anybody
Rotary
else?
power.
Rotary power. Okay, rotary power. Anybody else? Anybody else? Roll number 11, Suhas. Will you please unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you define this shaft?
Shaft is the transmission, power transmission
I want to say device?
component.
Component, okay.
Shaft is a component that transmits the power from
Transmits the power.
another.
Mhm. Then gears are also transmitting power. Belts are also transmitting power. Suhas? Can we call that belt and gears as a shaft? Transmitted power from driving device. Okay, that's what I'm telling. Rajkumar. Can we call that gears as a shaft? Because they are transmitting power. Rajkumar, will you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Can you just modify your definition? Rajkumar. Okay, you can read on this slide. The term transmission shaft usually refers to a rotating machine element, as the Balaji has told that it is rotating. Getting rotary power is transmitted. See, power is a power. Rotary motion is motion. We can say rotary motion. Linear motion in case of transmitting power from flow gases or the gases which are get burned or the fuel which has get burned on the top of piston, that also will get transmitted by means of linear motion of piston. Okay, so it is a rotary motion which will get transmitted, and it is a rotating machine element, circular in cross section. Okay, shafts are essential to have circular shape, which supports transmission elements like gears, pulleys, and sockets, and transmits power. So this shaft is nothing but a rotating element having essential cross section as a circular. Okay, and it is a rotary one, and which will get support, which is going to support to the other transmitting devices like gears or pulleys. And basically it is what single piece or might be connected together if sufficient long shaft is not possible to manufacture with the help of couplings. Okay, or it is going to couple or transmit power from one device to another device, like from one gear to another gear, or from one machinery to the another machinery by means of coupling, like from electric motor to the centrifugal pump. Okay, and it is providing support also to the other devices with the help of bearings. Okay, so everybody has tried in good manner that to define this shaft, but everybody is know what the shaft is, because one or the other time you might have seen this shaft. Even in case of bicycle also, if you are going to see the shaft which is used to mount the wheel of that bicycle, that is also shaft. Getting me? It is allowing to rotate that wheel freely, and we can get the propagation. So everybody has seen that shaft, and everybody knows what the shaft is. Just to put in proper words and its function, just to define its function, that is required. Getting? So everybody knows this shaft, and we have to design this shaft. So next question is that which basic criteria would you take while designing such type of rotary and circular cross section shafts? That means all of the theory. Yeah, huh? Theories of failure which we have seen. So basically, which criteria? Criteria means whether it is coming under the tension, compression, or in torsion. Which type of stresses are major stresses in case of shaft? So
Avoid
that
sharp corner.
to avoid the sharp corner, right? Stress concentration should not be there. But which are the major stresses? That is whether that will be tensile stresses, compressive stresses, shear stresses, which is the product of torsional stresses.
Torsional stress.
Torsional stress, right? So we have to take care while designing of shaft that we have to use the theory which will provide us uh, safety against the shear, right? So we have to use maximum shear stress theory instead of maximum principal stress theory. We have to use maximum shear stress theory while designing of such type of shafts, or torsional stress theory. Because in this case, main function of shaft is that to transmit torque from one place to another place, one point to another point. Basically, flow of torque will be take place in the shaft. Getting me? So we have to go for designing of this shaft. While we are going to design this shaft, we have to take help of maximum shear stress theory. Okay. Then next point is that we are going to see types of shafts. First type is called as axle. Axle, we have taken example just in previous slide of bicycle axle. Okay, axle is used for the shaft, used as a shaft also, and supports the rotating elements like wheels. We are going to call it as axle. Then spindle. Spindle is a short rotating shaft, like in case of lathe machine, we are going to call it as a spindle on which chuck is mounted. Okay, this short length shafts. Then counter shafts. Counter shafts are nothing but it is a secondary shaft which is driven by the main shafts and for which the power is supplied to the machine component. Okay, that means counter shafts is not going to directly run by the prime mover or directly is not going to supply power to the required application. It is just playing a role of transmission. Like in case of gearbox, some counter shafts are used through which the power is supplied or power is taken first from the input shaft and it is given to the counter shaft. After counter shaft, it is given to the output shaft. Okay, in that case, it is just playing role of transmitting the power. Then jack shafts. It is an auxiliary or what we can say intermediate shaft between two shafts. Okay, jack shafts means they are providing just jack for the transmitting the power. Okay, they are providing support to the transmitting power if coaxial shafts are used. Okay, then line shafts are considered consist number of shafts which are connected in axial direction by means of coupling. That means in gang drive such type of shafts are used, which is very rare to see nowadays. If sufficient long distance has to be traveled and power has transmitted by means of shaft only, like in case of spinning mill application, then line shafts are used. Okay, these are some types of shaft. According to their type, design criteria will get changed lightly. Just few things will get changed, so that you will come to know that which criteria, which basic thing which we have to use while designing the shaft. Otherwise, basic procedure will remain same. That is nothing but torsional stresses we have to consider, or shear stresses we have to consider, and maximum torque is transmitted by means of shafts only. We have to consider that shafts which are undergoing to the torsional stresses. Getting me? Do you have any doubt for this all section which we have completed today? If not, you can write your roll numbers in chat box. We'll stop here today. Thank you for listening. You are free to ask if you have any doubt. No? Okay. Just write your roll numbers in chat box and you can leave class. You can attend next class. Thank you.